cannot imagine how 10 minutes would change my life. 10 minutes had passed since I had gone in the exam room, and in those few minutes, everything had changed drastically. The image of that tiny baby kept replaying in my mind, and the patient, I'd taken something precious from her, and she didn't even know it. I felt so guilty. How had I let this happen? Unplanned by Abby Johnson, with Cindy Lambert. Though I grew up in a church that believed in the sanctity of human life, it wasn't a matter that I gave much thought to. I loved God. God created life. People shouldn't take life. It really seemed that simple. It wasn't simple once I was at college. I was a classic textbook case of good girl run amok. My parents tried to caution me, but I wasn't listening. Then I discovered I was pregnant. I called the clinic and made the appointment. It was as if what I had was not a baby, but a condition that needed treatment to cure it. The act was done. The problem gone. The process had been physically painful, but I had no regrets. I slammed that experience into a box, nailed it shut, stashed it in a dark corner of my soul, and pretended it wasn't there. I told no one. 3 days later, I resumed my normal activities. My junior year at Texas A&M, I shifted my focus toward where I would make my mark on the world. Are you familiar with Planned Parenthood? Not really. We believe that every community needs a clinic women can turn to when they need help. We help women who are facing crisis. I like the sound of that. We offer abortions and free birth control here. I'm not really sure how I feel about abortion. The truth was, I never carefully thought through the issues. Oh, our goal is to make abortions rare. Because we offer free birth control, thousands of abortions aren't required. Caring for women in crisis is what we are all about. I decided this is where I'm planting my feet. I can help prevent pregnancies, make abortion rare, and make a difference in women who need help. I was thrilled in feeling a part of something that was doing so much good. I explained options, I comforted and counseled. I found deep joy in being a part of bringing such healing to these wounded women. And I took that as proof of God's blessing. I repeated these talking points a good bit, as if hoping to convince my mom, or more likely myself, that the clinic was doing God's work. Abby, do you really think that you can pretend that the good done on one hand cancels out the abortion on the other? Doing wonderful things does not balance out the ending of babies' lives. We don't end babies' lives. Far better to remove fetal tissue than to bring an unwanted baby into this world. Besides, women have the right to decide when they want to have a child. On one hand, I wanted the number of abortions to decrease, right? But I didn't want abortions to end because I wanted women to be able to get them. What would I have done if I hadn't had abortions myself? On Sunday mornings, I felt like a spiritual misfit, surrounded by people in touch with God. Well, I just felt left out in the cold. Yet I was drawn to the confession of sin. Most merciful God, we have sinned against you in thought, word, and deed. I sensed that I was nearing God, and I wanted that. Though every week I felt a battle within. I found myself wanting to confess my part in abortion, yet I was fearful that God might want me to leave my career that I saw as making a difference in the world. It was in August 2009 that the receptionist referred a call to me. Do you have any parking where I can't be seen? My parents are outside the clinic praying. They're trying to talk me out of having an abortion. How about this? You park and I'll come out and escort you in. As I approached the girl's car, her mom was calling to her. Please, you don't have to do this. We want to help you. We'll give you money. Whatever it takes. Please, don't do this. The baby that you're carrying is beautiful. It was the most intense moment I've ever witnessed. Here was a woman who valued the life of this unborn child so much, she begged for it, wept for it, and the daughter didn't see what the big deal was. I escorted her inside. Are you all right? Are you sure this is what you want to do? Oh, I'm fine. That's just my mom. Fine? How could she be fine? I was deeply shaken by her mother's pleas. They had pierced my armor, and that box hidden deep within me was crying out that my baby hadn't had anyone pleading for its life. I never told my mom I was pregnant. The young woman had her abortion and left, but I never forgot her mother's pleading for the life of her grandchild. This family's attempt to save the life of the baby woke me. I was finding it increasingly hard to justify abortion. I'd always believed everything Planned Parenthood told me, that we helped women in crisis, and that our goal was to prevent unwanted pregnancies. The scales were beginning to fall from my eyes. I felt I was being forced into a decision, but I needed God's intervention in a huge way. God provided that intervention. Abby, we need an extra hand back in the exam room. Though I'd worked with Planned Parenthood for 8 years, I'd never been called back to help during an abortion, and I had no idea why I was needed now. I felt a moment's reluctance outside the door, but since we all had to pitch in, I swung the door open and stepped in. As I took the ultrasound probe, I argued with myself. I don't want to take part in an abortion. It's a good learning experience. You've never seen an ultrasound-guided abortion before. Besides, it'll be over in a few minutes. At first, the baby didn't seem aware of the cannula, and for a quick second, I felt relief. Of course, the fetus doesn't feel pain. You reassure countless women of this. Get a grip. This is a simple medical procedure. My head was working hard to control my responses, but I couldn't shake an inner mounting horror as my eyes glued to the image of this perfectly formed baby. I had an urge to shake the woman and yell, "Stop! Look at what is happening to your baby! Stop them!" But even as I thought those words, I looked at my own hand, holding the probe. I was one of them. My eyes shot back to the screen. The uterus was empty. Totally empty. What was just in this womb was alive. That wasn't just tissue. That was a live human baby that was lost in the blink of an eye. How many lives have been taken because of my hand? Oh dear God, what have I done? How have I found myself in this place, living a lie, spreading a lie? I just participated in a death. A death! Not the valiant steps of a woman exercising her right, not the surgical solution to a life problem. The death of a helpless baby. I walked back to my office, and the guilt of countless abortions, including my own, came crashing down on my shoulder. A torrent of guilt, pain, remorse, and fear was bursting out of me with every sob. I repent, Lord. Never again. Never again. I sensed God's love and forgiveness pouring in. Peace enveloped me, and I knew it was the peace that only God can give. I've been given new eyes now able to see grace doing its work. A high, thick wall that had been standing between me and God was obliterated.